Finland can be known for many different and amazing things, from its lovely culture to its charming people, and let's not forget its unique scenery and national landscape. Home to a proud people who have had a history of defending themselves against aggressors who desire the territory, and has also been a society that has fought for its independence and will do what is necessary to protect it. And in reference to protection, today we are looking at the military power of Finland and finding out what is rather unique about it. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to FTD Facts, the channel where we talk about people, cultures, and places from all around the world. Now, my name is Dave Wapple, the host with the most, and today we are going to look at the military of Finland. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably like, Finland, don't really think of Finland and military put together. I know it's a rather peaceful nation. Like, of course, you don't think of Finland and think of something like the United States that spends billions of dollars on stealth bombers. Or you just don't think of it as a major offensive country, like one that has attack helicopters, aircraft carriers, and even nuclear capability. No, you don't think of that when it comes to Finland. However, although Finland may be small, believe it or not, it does pack quite a punch, and we're going to look at that today. Now, before we get in this episode, guys, just letting you know, here on the channel, we don't just look at militaries, we also look at the countries as a whole, and one of the reasons we're doing this is because we've done videos on Finland in the past, and if you guys want to learn more about Finland or its neighboring countries, guys, I'm going to put some links up here, right here in those little boxes going up above my head, or I'm just going to put them at the end of the video, whatever you guys prefer. But cool, let's get started. And with that in mind, guys, I also want to know, if you guys could join the military, what branch would you be in? Would you be in the Air Force, the Navy, or the Ground Forces? Let me know, which is also called the Army. Put it down there. Let's get going. All right, cool. Now, first of all, when we look at Finland, it has a population of approximately 5.5 million people. Now, of that, its manpower sits at approximately 2.3 million people. And of that, only about 1.9 million people are fit for service. Now, its total personnel sits at 262,050 people, with only an active personnel of 29,350. And the rest of them, which is approximately 232,700 people, are all in reserves. Now, you may be wondering, why are there a lot of reserves within this country? Well, one of the reasons is because this country still does, in fact, use conscription. As a matter of fact, there is universal conscription for males that are of the age of 18 years old. And for them, they would have to participate in a service of 165 days, 225 days, or 374 days. Now, for women, when it comes to this conscription rule, it's not really taken into effect because women in the country are there but for non-military service and or participate in volunteer service that are just strictly for women. Now, one of the main reasons why they have conscription is because Finland's official policy states that they have to have a wartime strength of 280,000 people as a deterrent. Now, when I give you those numbers saying there was about 262,000 of them, keep in mind, guys, the numbers that I give you are not 100%. It's kind of just a rough ballpark, so I'm willing to bet that there's probably at least 280,000 people within the military. And that's only due to the fact that it's based off of that rule, that's all. Also, when it comes to the conscription, no one can come into the military after the age of 49. And for that, they say approximately 80% of the Finnish males who turned 30 in 2011 had finished the service. And if you actually refuse going, you can spend approximately 173 days in prison. Yikes, that's a lot. As well, when it comes to this conscription, about 27,000 people are trained a year due to this law, which actually makes Finland one of the top countries with the highest conscription rate. That's pretty insane. Now, also when it comes to the military power of Finland, it should be noted that it is the only non-NATO EU country that borders Russia. Now, one of the reasons for that, it might be due to the fact that they buy a lot of equipment from Russia. They also buy a lot of equipment from other places around the world. But speaking of equipment, let's get into that. Let's break down this military even further. For this, let's take a look at their aircraft. They have a total aircraft strength of 153. Now, of that, there are 55 fighters, all of these which are FA-18Cs. And of course, they also have about 55 attack aircrafts, 31 transport aircrafts, and their trainer aircraft sits at approximately 66. However, their helicopter strength sits at 27. And Finland does not have any attack helicopters of any sort. They don't have like Apaches or anything like that. They just don't need them. And of course, you might be thinking to yourself, why does Finland have such a small air force? Well, one of the reasons is because of the rules that date back to the Second World War. Now, for the Second World War, when it comes to aircraft, a lot of them were given by Germany. Now, although if you look at the Finnish Air Force at the time, you'll notice that there is the Nazi or the Luftwaffe symbol, but that doesn't mean the people of Finland were actually really allies with Germany. Now, one of the reasons why Germany invested in them was because Finland actually had a major conflict with Russia, which actually ended in approximately 1944, and to keep the peace with Russia, they actually had to turn around and beat the Germans out of their country. It was pretty awesome. However, after the Second World War, the peace talks in Paris limited Finland to certain rules. They were to have no more than 60 combat aircraft, and none of these aircrafts were to have bomb bays, nor could they have missiles or atomic weapons. On top of that, they were not allowed to use German weaponry or German parts in their aircrafts. Finland couldn't have any offensive weapons, and a maximum of 3,000 people in their military. Now, of course, rules from the Second World War, they don't really apply to today, because by 1963, they were allowed to rearm themselves. And of course, because of that, they tried to remain on Russia's good side by buying equipment from them, and of course, trying to remain on good terms with the West by buying equipment from them. And like I said, one of the reasons why Finland has a small military is, if you kind of look at Japan after the Second World War, they were pretty much not allowed to rebuild a military. And even in today's world, they don't really have a big military because of the rules that were put in place way back in the day. But let's jump back, let's take a look at some of the other equipment that this country has. For example, they have approximately 160 combat tanks. Of that, a majority of them are the Leopard 2A4 and the 2A6, and there's approximately 20 more coming from the Netherlands for 2019. Their armored fighting vehicles sit at 1,370, which is balanced between the Swedish CV9030 and the Soviet BMP-2. Their artillery self-propelled sits at 90, and their artillery towed sits at 871. And as for their rocket projectors, they have approximately 58 of them. Now let's jump over to the Navy. Now the first thing we should mention is their call signs generally always start with FNS. Now their total Navy assets sit at approximately 270. And as for this, it's really hard to get some numbers because they don't really have any big ships. As a matter of fact, they have a lot of patrol boats, about 8 of them, which are also classified as missile boats. And of these, most of them are called Squadron 2000. There's also transports, landing crafts, minesweepers, and mine layers. As well, they're developing a squadron called Squadron 2020, which is another type of missile craft or patrol craft, which was stated to be in the design phase of planning in 2018. And of course, Finland doesn't have any aircraft carriers, they don't really have any submarines, and of course, they don't have any corvettes, destroyers, or anything that's huge. So that is a rundown of the forces of Finland. It should also be noted that Finland does not have any nuclear weapons, as that is forbidden within its legislation. However, they can indeed fire ballistic missiles. As well, when it comes to Finland, since 1956, they've sent over 43,000 troops for UN peacekeeping missions. That's insane. And of that, keep in mind, only approximately 39 of their soldiers have lost their lives during these missions. Finland also has a law that states the maximum they will lend for UN peacekeeping missions is 2,000. And what makes Finland's military amazing, besides its defensive capability, is they've also participated in operations in Iraqi Kurdistan. They've also been in Lebanon, Afghanistan, Bosnia, Mali, Somalia, Pakistan, and other peacekeeping missions around the world. And with all this in mind, we should look at one last thing, and that is how much this military costs for the entire country. Now, currently, it's been reported that Finland uses about 200,000 barrels of oil in a day. Now, whether or not that is for the military or that and government services is uncertain. However, when it comes to the budget, Finland's military is estimated in 2017 to be at 2.8 billion euros. And in 2017, that made the defense budget equal 1.3% of the GDP for that year. And because of all these factors, its budget, its equipment, its conscription rules that has almost every single male citizen contributing to the military, its homeland defense willingness against a superior enemy ranks at 76, being one of the highest in all of Europe. So there you have it, guys. That, again, is a look at Finland. Let me know your thoughts on it down there in the comment section below. But thank you guys for watching. And again, if you guys want to watch some more videos on Finland, boom, check out some of these cards right here, or just wait till the end of the video. We've also got some other countries around the world where we talk about their militaries, so keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. But other than that, guys, my name is Dave Walpole. Hit the subscribe button if you guys want to, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Cool? Bye. So, alright guys, here's those videos that I was telling you all about. Feel free to check them out. We got some really cool stuff that you think you guys will want to learn about. It's great learning about Finland and other countries around the world and what the people of these countries do. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.